What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I see in the title's going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it in the title down below. I will be changing my times of my drops, so make sure y'all stay tuned. Y'all see the times that drop. Every day. I'm trying to get done, a little early, and get these videos out to y'all. So, I know a lot of people probably are not seeing these videos because they dropping so late. And some people obviously will watch it and stuff like that, but I truly feel as if, we gotta make a little shift. But y'all have it right here. Minnesota whistleblower, who was a forensic supervisor, called out 100 million per year Somali fraud almost 10 years ago, and says Democrat political machine swiftly moved to, basically tell them off. Says they all need to be prosecuted, of course. This has been ongoing for a while now, and it's truly, truly sad. But like I said, before we get in this, truly, within this video and the next, truly a banger. So make sure y'all stay tuned for them. I'm telling y'all, it's definitely some stuff that, I've been finding, and it's pretty wild, not only within the Minnesota fraud, with what's going on in Somalians, but Ilhan Omar as well.
This has the potential to be Minnesota's Watergate. I stand by my allegations. I stand by my claims about the $100 million. It could potentially be higher than that.
Scott Stillman was a digital forensics supervisor for the Minnesota Department of Human Services from 2007 to 2017. In 2018, he sounded the alarm in front of the Minnesota Senate and the Minnesota House.
And believe me, Minnesota's government programs are being victimized by organized crime because of lack of controls.
Stillman was the first to blow the whistle on what he and his colleagues were uncovering as early as 2015. Fake daycares defrauding Medicaid for millions.
Every time I did a search warrant, every single time we went through the door during business hours, there were never children in there, ever. It was set up with tables and chairs and toys, but they appeared disused, dusted.
These daycares.
But I feel like so many, even with Nick Shirley doing that too, going into these daycares and stuff like that, and just seeing how bad it is, we can definitely see even times that Nick Shirley clearly couldn't go into these daycares, we can see in front of them or a little bit inside the rooms or anything like that, that the toys haven't been played with. It was all new items. You know what I mean? It was all new items. It was so bad that it was actually an individual that owns the daycare and a teacher that had commented on the videos and was basically saying that where they had the supplies at, they usually have I guess regular for the little students to grab them and stuff like that, but they had the items higher up. So if it was for a 3 or 4 year old that could get these items that their teacher told them to or something like that, or asked them to, they couldn't reach that. So it was just little stuff that people found within it. And I'm telling y'all, everything about how they were moving and us seeing this, and then just having this whistleblower of literally saying everything Nick Shirley exposed, just goes to show y'all a lot that this has been going on for a while.
Fair to say that they were run by members of the Somali community here?
Every daycare I investigated was run by Somalis, owned by Somalis. This was fraud and other issues on a scale I had never, ever encountered before. And you see them billing Monday through Monday, holidays, weekends, sometimes 12, even 24-hour billings, and you see no children coming and going. And you're realizing, okay, look at the logs, and they're billing for 100 kids a day. And in one case, or in cases, they identified money going from their bank accounts to prominent politicians in Minnesota.
And then what? What happens?
We started seeing a lot of our cases, we would present them for prosecution, and we were presented with roadblocks. You don't have enough evidence. This isn't really a crime. Questions of, they thought, issues of race.
He wrote 2 emails to his superiors at DHS.
And I felt I had a responsibility a moral responsibility. I also had a legal obligation. I wrote 2 emails, detailed emails to my supervisor, recording my concerns, giving him statistics, dates, times, dollar amounts, things of that nature.
If the general public knew the gravity of what we are seeing, it would have a negative impact on DHS, its leaders, and state government. We need to have an outside, independent entity conduct an audit of DHS's handling of the hundreds of millions of dollars being misspent, despite repeated warnings to senior management that state money is being used to fund terrorism. Then, he says, the political machine destroyed him. They forced him to sign a plea agreement in an unrelated lawsuit stating he had made false statements, which Stillman says was used to damage his credibility.
The the Attorney General's office, the Minnesota Attorney General's office, and Department of Human Services came to me and said, something has developed and we are now going to require you to sign a plea agreement. We know you didn't do this, but we really don't care. If you don't sign it, we are going to destroy you.
Stillman left DHS and moved out of state. 8 years later, Stillman was proven right. In December 2025, U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson estimated the fraud at $9 billion.
What we see in Minnesota is not a handful of bad actors committing crimes. It's a staggering industrial scale fraud.
He exonerated me in the fact that everything I had said during my Senate and House hearings was not only accurate, 100% accurate, but is incredibly conservative. I think this is the biggest fraud in the United States history. It's a threat against our country, and most people are totally unaware that it's even happening.
Why is this still happening when you sounded the alarm over 10 years ago?
The politicians have not stopped it. And you can draw your own conclusions as to why they haven't stopped it, whether it's because they're complicit or they have ties to these entities or they have friends who are getting rich off of it. I don't know.
Kristen Robbins, the chair of the Minnesota House Oversight and Fraud Prevention Committee, says if the government had just listened to Stillman back in 2018, 2019, this fraud would not have ballooned and mushroomed into what it has today. Stillman himself is calling for a federal investigation.
And one thing about it, though, like I look at the simple fact that they need to get on this, and I know that they are. You know, you have this task force, you have JD Vance, you know. But I truly feel like this is something that has been going on for so long. And now that it's out completely and then you're having whistleblowers talk about this, like I don't understand why a lot more isn't done yet, especially when it comes. And I get it, you know, they'll say, you know, this amount of Somalians have been deported or we have arrested these group of Somalians. I get all of that. But at the same time, a lot of places that's around in Minnesota needs to be shut down. Not only that, when it comes to Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, especially, and many more. But those two definitely, they need to do something about it. You know, other than just words. This is another individual says Minnesota Autism Clinic owner says she tried to report Somali fraud to stop the theft of taxpayer dollars, and they clearly, you know, brought up a race issue like they're continue to do. And they say because you look at a black or brown individual and a Somalian, that it has nothing to do with that. Y'all clearly see what y'all are doing. And again, it's a right or wrong thing. Check it out.
We went and looked at a few of their clinics. My staff did, not me personally. And we decided we didn't want to affiliate with them. And I got written up in a blog as being racist.
Really?
So anytime you go out and yes, and that was years ago. That was a few years ago. Anytime it's a fear of every Minnesotan. We are good, honest, hardworking people, and we don't want to be called racist because we're not. If you go up against the Somalis, you're immediately racist.
So therefore, you have to tolerate fraud, which seems to be, at least at a minimum, the motivation for many people involved. And now you have your funds frozen. Who do you blame?
Blame the administration and Governor Walz. They turned a blind eye. There is no possible way this could have happened unless they let it happen. All of us who've been in business get spot audits on site every year where they come in, the state does, and says, I want to see these files for these children for this time. Every year. And you have to pass these audits. There's crossing the T's, dotting the I's, the scrutiny that we're under to be perfect, and somehow they didn't know that these clinics didn't have working phone numbers or kids. Clearly, they weren't getting audits on site. I don't think you need AI or Nick Shirley to go around and figure it out. If they would have just stopped by the way they do my clinics, they would have seen it.
Your clinic is under threat right now with the freezing of funds.
And I'm not gonna lie. I understand, like, you know, obviously her delivery when she said it shouldn't take Nick Shirley, and honestly, being real, it shouldn't take it. You know, it shouldn't take it that far to where content creators and, you know, obviously, you know, content creators / the independent journalists. I get all of that, but it shouldn't take it that far, especially when y'all having different individuals who actually truly worked and speaking on this. You literally have them speaking on it, and but I will say that I'm glad that Nick Shirley and others, you know, are on top of this as much as possible, because you need to be. I don't, like I said, and like I'll continue to say in all my videos, I don't want it swept up under the rug.
Necessary for your clinic. And you blame the administration. You blame Governor Walz. Is simply not seeking re-election enough? What kind of accountability do you want to see for the political figures of Minnesota?
I think all of Minnesota is so tired of people not being held accountable. Stepping down is just, it's his way out. This is so ugly and so widespread, and he was so complicit, in my opinion, of course. I'm more worried about the 30 to 40,000 children, if they don't pull this back, this prepayment review, and pay us, that are going to be left, innocent children that are going to be left with no services. The schools can't take them. The schools were the people who said, we can't take you, and discharged them. They'll have nowhere to go. Moms and dads, somebody's going to have to stop working and stay home with these children. Whatever happens to Governor Walz, just leave. And if that's what it takes, just leave. But I am the most worried about these families who are going to pay for the fraud that was allowed to happen.
Definitely. That's how I look at it. I truly look at it. Just, you have Tim Walz, and I know that I always say, you know, the Tim Walz, the other Ilhan Omar. I'm gonna tell y'all one thing for certain. They need to stop and truly just look at, this would be an amazing example to set so others wouldn't do it. And that's what gets me so fired up, is because we love to see, obviously, people that's doing wrong when it comes to this fraud, and they're using that force to, okay, this is shut down, and we thinking of, okay, you got prison time or you got deportation. But things are so messed up, y'all. I seen a post, actually. It was the guy today. I obviously, this video isn't about that. It's more so about Ilhan Omar, of course. But they had an individual. They had somebody, a man, Somalian, that, let me look this up so I'm not wrong. Y'all know me. You have a Somalian sentenced. I want to say, let me see, 1 year sentence. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, so a Somali man from Minnesota who stole $1.1 million in tax dollars meant for the meals for children has been sentenced to just 1 year in prison. This is the stuff that I'm talking about. This is not truly, and it goes to show y'all of what they're trying to do. This is not showing an example. This right there is not showing an example whatsoever. I'm telling y'all. Let me or you do it. It's sickening. It's truly, truly sickening. You have Ilhan Omar right here. And again, Ilhan Omar knows what she's doing. She's knowing what she's saying. She knows. She truly, truly knows. Yet she used these excuses when it comes down to it.
Can you shed any light on why the fraud got so out of control in Minnesota?
I think what happened is that, you know, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
Again, a lot of this is more so excuses instead of owning up. And you see when a person has to get on somewhere and they have to sit there and lie and they have to sit there and use excuses and they doing this and doing that. Just seeing her face and her body language, she's definitely noticed she's in the wrong. And I'm telling y'all, I know for a fact this is so loud and so many people are talking about this and not letting it go, like myself, that I know it's definitely gonna be some great news when it comes down to Ilhan Omar real soon. Truly, I know it is. I mean, you literally have other Somalians literally making TikToks and making videos, and not even making sense at that. Check out what he just check out what he said, y'all.
If you're kicking out Somalis, you have to kick out everyone else. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm speaking for all of my African brothers.
If Somalis get kicked out, all the Africans will leave with us.
Sisters, if you kick Somalis out, you have to kick all of them out. All of us, we all leave together. Because if you kick us out, you have to kick everyone else. I'm gonna be honest.
Let me tell y'all something. As much as I would say I wouldn't agree with a person like him, I'm not trying to make it a race issue. Obviously, there's Somalians that aren't in fraud and don't, actually came here years ago and want a better life and came here the right way and this, that, and the other. Somalians like this individual and others with the fraud, the crime, this, that, and the other illegal. I mean, again, wouldn't agree with a lot of what they say, but I definitely agree with him. If those are the terms, if Somalis get kicked out and everybody else, the other Somalians, and hey, if that's what's needed, then hey, I agree with you. I don't think that he's truly thinking about it. And he's not making a right point of what he's trying to do, and that just goes to show you and tell you everything. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling y'all. Check it out, Fox News.
In Minnesota actually had very good transparency, and that's why that young man Nick Shirley was able to go to all these see the scams because this is the name of the facility, this is the address, this is how much money they got. Oh look, it's an empty storefront, there's no one here. New York, California are hiding it. So that we're all in favor of states' rights and states doing more, but the money goes into a lot of these blue states, and some of the red states could be more transparent. And
let me tell y'all something. Says Nick just revealed that Nick Shirley was able to easily find Minnesota fraud because they've been transparent with their fraud, as states like California hide the fraud. One thing about it that I thought about when it comes down to it is that I truly feel as if they're not really trained, like people would think they are, seeing of what they're doing in the millions and the cars and the clothes, this, that, and the other. They got the part of sit at work and do nothing, and no kids and no clients and nobody moving around, no customers, but you didn't get the point of, okay, maybe I should keep my mouth shut. No, they literally speak. And every time they speak, y'all remember how I used to tell y'all about Jasmine Crockett? Every time she opens up her mouth, she's literally making it worse for herself. That's exactly how a lot of these Somalians are, what they're doing. When you go to these businesses, you can easily catch them in the lie. And times they don't even have to say nothing. You can see for yourself. I'm telling y'all. Not to mention, you have Ilhan Omar falsely claiming that the Save America Act. Let me tell y'all something about this. My thing is with this whole thing, and this is me being real. Y'all know me. Is one of the things of being right or wrong when it comes down to it, and how I look at it. Why on earth, truly? And I know why they will want to do it, but I'm just asking, like, why would you want illegals voting? Clearly not even living here, not knowing what's going on. It's a lot of things I can sit here and talk. It's a lot of things you can sit there and talk about it. On why, it's a bunch of reasons on why illegals shouldn't be voting. At all. But you have Ilhan Omar here literally saying and fighting for this. Check it out.
We are looking at in Washington, D.C. is the SAFE Act, which is a piece of legislation that is in regards to, they say, creating a safe election. And we say it is a bill that disenfranchises half of the population in the United States. It's a bill that requires for people to show a proof of citizenship. We know that majority of married women who have changed their names, who might not have access to their original birth certificates and all the documents that they need. If married women who have changed their names, who might not have access to their original birth certificates and all the
I feel like at this point, like, they're using a whole bunch of excuses so much that truly just doesn't make sense, because they know that when it comes to these illegals voting, that they'll truly get the votes that they need. My thing is, I'm gonna be truthfully honest with y'all. Let me make sure. Let me look this up. I wanna see exactly and just be real with this whole thing. Come to America. So Ilhan Omar came to the United States in 1995 at the age of 12 after spending 4 years at a camp for escape, Civil War. She initially arrived in Virginia, later on moved, blah, blah, blah. I get all of that. My thing with this is that I truly, and y'all can say whatever y'all want to. Y'all can get mad at me. Y'all can say this. Y'all can say that. I'm going to just be real. I love to see, and I'm not a person that brings up race all the time. I don't have to bring up race all the time. It's right or wrong with me, and it's you're either a good person or a bad person. You obviously see on how many things and how they're trying to shift more so of their culture, not caring about Americans. I could see if Ilhan Omar, obviously changed her whole demeanor, attitude, and the way she thinks and this, that, and the other. You literally have somebody, it says she moved when she was 12. In 1995. 1997, she moved to Minneapolis. But at the same time, you literally have Ilhan Omar still communicating with the Somalian government and still communicating with this. There's been many clips of her saying, of them saying, "Oh, she needs to be in office. We need her to do this. We need her to do that." That should tell y'all a lot. That should actually tell people a lot. And I love to see it. It just goes to show y'all. It just goes to show y'all that it's one of those things of having great mind to make, and want America to be amazing. And I truly just don't get that. I truly don't get how people want America just to be and just talk crazy about it. Talk crazy about it. You literally got, mind you, this is America. People act like they love America. They want to come here. They want to leave from where they are. And the first thing that they do gets on my nerves. And truly, everybody doesn't do this. I don't want to say everybody. But they rep their flag. I truly feel like that's one of the things that's the most disrespectful thing you can possibly do when it comes down to it. And I know I'm going to have a lot of people hate on me about this. And I'm not saying that you can't. I'm saying to show that appreciation for America too. It's people that's been doing whatever with the with the American flag. Doing whatever with the American flag. But quick to throw their flag up. The place that they left. Mind you, I can understand if it's, bad and this, that, and the other, because that's just like, things that President Trump has done, obviously. We don't get, too far into that because it is going to be something else and I'm going to be talking more. But you have individuals not only waving their flag because they can go back home and they're excited, but you also have them holding an American flag and giving that props up to Trump. But then you have other individuals like the Somalian group that truly just don't care about America. They say it themselves, bro. And it's truly annoying. I'm telling y'all.
Documents that they need in time to be able to vote on any of the primaries that are happening in the next few weeks, few months, or the November election will be disenfranchised. So Democrats are voting no. And when it passed out of the House, I did vote no in that bill, on that bill as well.
Somebody said that's the point, honey. We don't want illegals voting. I mean, I not rocket science. I'm telling y'all, truly crazy. Says an overwhelming poll showed just found 81% of Americans support voter ID, 74%. And it's kind of crazy because this percentage actually was different from where I originally put this because it had the wrong percentage. It was at 60% what they put, but it's changed to 80%, which it is 81% at that. 74% support citizenship to vote, and 68% support the Save America Act. I mean, come on now. One thing about it is that I truly don't want, and I don't know about y'all. I don't want illegals voting. That's just my opinion.
The only one that fight it are the Democrat leaders because they want to cheat. The only reason you say, that's the only reason, I don't want voter identification with a picture. I always add with a picture, it's true. And the only reason you don't want that is because you want to cheat, and they do cheat, and we can't let them get away with it. So we have to keep that fight going. We have to get voter ID, and we have to get proof of citizenship. It's so important, one of the most important things we can do. So I want to thank House Majority Leader, a brave guy. Oh, boy, I was with him that night where he wasn't supposed to make it, Steve's.
I'm telling y'all, President Trump is definitely, and that's another thing. I don't know why everybody seems so surprised at what President Trump is doing. He literally told y'all what he's going to do, and he's doing everything he can. I'm not going to lie. Just think about this. What did Biden do? For the people that's always in my comments, that's always talking crazy, leave Trump, just for a second. I want y'all to leave Trump out of it. Leave Trump out of it. Don't even put his name in nothing. I want y'all to give me the specifics of 3 things Joe Biden has done while he was in office to make America better. That's just 3. Just give me 3. That's all I want. I'm telling y'all. As Leader John Thune says, the SAVE Act will now require photo ID in addition to U.S. citizenship to vote in the U.S. election. Do y'all firmly support this? Me personally, I do. I don't know about y'all, but one thing about it, big yes for me.
Repeatedly urged the passing of the SAVE Act as well as many MAGA Republicans. What is the holdup in the Senate? Why hasn't that been brought to the floor for a vote? And what's your stance on requiring proof of citizenship to vote in elections?
Well, I'm for that. I've co-sponsored the SAVE Act in the past. I think my understanding is that they are still modifying the bill. It includes right now a requirement that you be a citizen to register to vote, but it doesn't include a requirement that to vote you be a resident. So in other words, if you're going to have what we call voter ID or photo ID when somebody goes into the ballot box to vote, that's not currently covered in the bill. So that's being fixed and addressed, and I think the new bill that comes out hopefully will deal with that. But I mean, at some point we'll have that vote. I'm for it. I think most of our colleagues in the Senate are, and I don't, it hasn't had consideration in the relevant committee yet. But I know there's a high level of interest among our members in getting a vote on SAVE Act. I've seen that happen.
There y'all go. There y'all go. Before we end this video, though, I wanted to show y'all this because it truly is, some facts of what I got to show y'all within this. This individual right here is Sassafras, SASSAFRASS_84. Definitely give her a follow. I think that's who this is. I'm pretty sure. But this is who has the video. So hopefully. But check it out right here, y'all.
You really up now, didn't you? If y'all haven't heard about this by now, let me be the first to tell you. So allegedly, the Republic of Somaliland is calling to have Ilhan Omar extradited for her crimes that she committed here in the United States. The nation's official X account responded to Vance's allegations, writing, "Deportation? Please. You're just sending the princess back to her kingdom. Extradition? Say the word." You see, Miss Ma'am, that's what happens when you play stupid games. You win stupid prizes. Now, here's my personal opinion of what I think should happen, right? Make her serve out her prison term here in the United States for however long that would be. And then absolutely extradite her back to Africa. And don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure that the punishment in Africa is a lot harsher than what it is here in the United States. But that's not my problem. This is what happens when you frown, because now she's about to be in that find out stage.
And that's one thing about it. Truly. Somebody commented, said prison here for a long period of time. I'm not going to say, oh my, that is wild. I'm reading anyways. Feed her pork and sausage on Sunday. Then back home to Somalian prison. We can't be weak on this. I'm not going to lie. That definitely added an extra cherry on top with the pork and the sausage. I'm not going to lie. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. I couldn't even, I wasn't even thinking about that. Truly wasn't thinking about that. But you have Liz Collin here on our podcast. Talked about, too, you know, when it comes down, it says retaliation. You got, who is this? Joe. You got Liz. So he talked about why he thinks retaliation against whistleblowers and political partnership helped make fraud in Minnesota even worse. Check it out right here.
So in your opinion, how high does this fraud go? Will there be accountability for the fraud? And why did you want to speak out, Joe?
Well, as you can see, cancer helped facilitate a little faster retirement on my part. Aside from the fact that the state, if you're a state employee, you're prohibited to facilitate a little faster. As you can see, cancer helped facilitate a little faster retirement on my part.
Prayers to him. I didn't know that. Prayers to him and his family. I ain't gonna lie. Definitely, anybody that, is, going through that, I definitely, sending my prayers, my thoughts, my love to y'all. My mom, went through that. So definitely got to get that to him. I have to pause the video. When it's stuff like that, I gotta do that.
Aside from the fact that the state, if you're a state employee, you're prohibited from talking. They control, what you can say, and retaliation and concern about that is very real. I don't really have anything left to lose. It's the right thing to do for the right reason. But I'm also skeptical because, while I was working at the state, they did some pretty underhanded things. There were investigations that were shut down that gave me pause and gave people pause to look and go, this is a good fraud case, and we're just being told by our bosses for inexplicable reasons, like we're not going to be pursuing this one anymore. So I think the partisan politics is huge. I think, the idea that, the AG's office can do investigations, that's obviously partisan. The BCA is partisan. The superintendent is appointed by the governor. So that something more collaborative needs to be done to look into this.
There you have it. I'm telling y'all. That's real. One thing about it, I always look at these comments. This picture is definitely wild. I'm not going to lie. Somebody said, I think the feds just need to step in and totally take over.
So in your opinion, how high does...
It definitely needs to be, more and more that's happening, because this stuff right here is truly sickening. And I know y'all are tired of it. I'm not going to lie. I know y'all are. You even have Nancy Mace is calling to deport Somali national Ilhan Omar. And asking, do you support this? Because I strongly do. And a lot of other people, are starting to see that too. Even people that, have been or used to support Ilhan Omar, or even Democrats themselves. Make sure y'all hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. You already know. Definitely stay tuned for the next video dropping tonight. But y'all see, there are a lot of people starting to wake up, like I said, that are truly, I would say, ex-Democrat. But hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Definitely appreciate y'all. Much love, everybody. Catch y'all next one.